Hello, everyone! In today's lesson, we'll be learning the double angle and half angle identities and how to apply these to evaluate trig expressions and verify other identities. As in the previous lessons, make sure you have all your reference sheets from this unit with you, as we will be using them throughout the lesson. At the start of your lesson, you had the pre-video activity, doubling the angles. If you haven't had a chance to work on it yet, pause the video to do that now. Let's look at it together. The pre-video activity asked us to use the sum identities from the previous lessons to find the formulas for the sine, cosine, and tangent of a double angle. First off, we have sine of 2 theta, which we can write as sine of the sum theta plus theta. Applying the sine of a sum identity, this becomes sine theta cosine theta plus cosine theta sine theta. We can actually just combine these two terms and get 2 sine theta cosine theta, which gives us our sine of a double angle identity. Similarly, to find the identity for cosine of 2 theta, we write it as cosine of theta plus theta and expand it using the cosine of a sum identity, which gives us cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta. This is our cosine of a double angle identity. Lastly, we find the tangent of 2 theta identity by expanding tangent of theta plus theta with the tangent of a sum identity, and after simplifying, we end up with 2 tangent theta over 1 minus tangent squared theta, which is our tangent of a double angle identity. Let's use what we just learned to verify these two identities. Notice how each of these are giving us different expressions for cosine of 2 theta, which we just proved is equal to cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta. Why then are these identities saying cosine of 2 theta is equal to something else? Is it possible to express cosine of 2 theta in more than one way? Let's try to verify them to find out. Remember to have your reference sheets handy. To verify the first identity, let's replace cosine of 2 theta with cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta. What do you think we can do now? If we are working to make the left side look like the right side, we could note that the right side only uses cosine. How could we write the sine squared on the left side in terms of cosine? Do we know any identities that would help us? Seeing sine and cosine squared makes me think of the Pythagorean identity. If our goal is to replace sine squared theta with an equivalent expression involving cosine, we can isolate sine squared theta in this identity, which gives us 1 minus cosine squared theta, which we can then substitute in for the sine squared. Now we just simplify the signs and combine like terms, and the identity is verified. Now it's your turn. Verify the identity cosine 2 theta equals 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. Pause the video now. Once again, we use the double angle identity and replace cosine of 2 theta with cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta. Then, we want to switch out this cosine squared for an expression involving sine squared, which we can get by isolating cosine squared in the Pythagorean identity. Replacing cosine squared theta with 1 minus sine squared theta on the left side, and then combining like terms yields 1 minus 2 sine squared theta, which verifies the identity. Looks like we can in fact express cosine of 2 theta in more than one way. We just proved 2 other identities for cosine of a double angle, which often turn out to be very useful alternatives. Therefore, we will keep them in mind as different versions of the cosine of a double angle identity. Here are all the double angle identities we learned. Record these new identities in this slot of your reference sheet. Pause the video to do so now. Now, let's apply some of these identities to a second example. In our second example, we're given that sine of x equals 0.96 and tangent of x is less than 0, and we're asked to find the exact values of sine of 2x and cosine of 2x. Think about how we could approach this problem. What identities could we use? We will definitely need our new identities for the sine and cosine of a double angle. However, I notice these identities in general require the sine of the angle and the cosine of the angle, and we're only given the sine. Therefore, a good first step would be to find cosine of x, which we know we can do with the Pythagorean identity. Once we have both sine and cosine of x, we can use the double angle identities to find sine of 2x and cosine of 2x. Pause the video now and do the first step on your own, finding cosine of x. We substitute 0.96 for sine of x in the Pythagorean identity, and then solve for cosine of x, which leads to cosine x equals plus minus 0.28. Do we have two answers for cosine then? A positive and a negative? Well, we were given another piece of information that we need to keep in mind. Tangent of x is less than 0, that is, it's negative. How is this helpful? Remember that by the quotient identity, tangent of theta equals sine theta over cosine theta. For our angle x, we know sine of x is positive 0.96, and we're also being told tangent of x is negative. Therefore, what must be the sine of cosine? Since a positive divided by a negative would yield a negative, cosine x must be negative. Therefore, cosine of x equals negative 0.28. Now that we have sine and cosine of x, pause the video and calculate sine and cosine of 2x. By the double angle identity, sine of 2x equals 2 sine x cosine x. Substituting 0.96 for sine and negative 0.28 for cosine, we get that sine of 2x equals negative 0.5376. To find cosine of 2x, we can choose any of the three identities we have for cosine of a double angle. I'll choose the third one that only uses sine. Cosine of 2x becomes 1 minus 2 sine squared x, and we replace sine of x with 0.96, which results in cosine of 2x equals negative 0.8432. Let's look at a third example. On your own, use double angle identities to verify the given identities. Pause the video now. Now let's check your work. Since the right side seems to be the most complex, we can try to simplify it by first expanding it with the double angle identities for sine and cosine. We can replace sine of 2 theta with its equivalent 2 sine theta cosine theta, but which version of the cosine of a double angle identity should we use here? While using any of the three versions would be correct, there's one that would allow us to simplify most efficiently. If we use the third version, notice how the ones will end up canceling out, and we will only be left with 2 sine squared theta over 2 sine theta cosine theta. We can simplify this fraction by canceling out some common factors, the 2 and a sine theta. On the right side, we're only left with sine theta over cosine theta, which we know is equal to tangent theta. We can verify the second identity in a similar fashion. we replace sine of 2 theta with 2 sine theta cosine theta, and a good substitution for cosine 2 theta would be 2 cosine squared theta minus 1, because once we make the substitutions, those ones will end up canceling out. Then we can simplify the fraction by 2 and by cosine theta, and we get sine theta over cosine theta, which, once again, is equal to tangent theta. Now it's time to look into a new group of identities, the half-angle identities. We will derive these using these versions of the cosine of a double angle identity. Let's start by finding the identity for cosine of a half angle, which will be a formula to find the cosine of theta over 2. Think about the double angle identity cosine of 2 theta equals 2 cosine squared theta minus 1. It gives us the cosine of an angle that is double the measure of angle theta that is used on the right side. However, we could also see this relationship in a different way. The angle theta used in the right side is half of the angle 2 theta on the left side. In fact, another way of writing this identity could be cosine theta equals 2 cosine squared of half of theta minus 1. Notice how this equation shows the exact same relationship. It's just using different angles. Furthermore, now we have an equation containing the expression we're looking for, cosine of theta over 2. Let's isolate this expression by adding 1 and dividing by 2 on both sides. Then we can take the square root of both sides to cancel the square, remembering to write the plus minus sign, and we get that cosine of theta over 2 equals plus minus square root of 1 plus cosine theta over 2. This is our cosine of a half-angle identity. Now let's find the identity for sine of a half angle using the double angle identity cosine of 2 theta equals 1 minus 2 sine squared of theta. Following the same reasoning we used to find the cosine of a half angle, try to find the sine of a half angle identity on your own. Pause the video now and give it a shot. We rewrite the identity as cosine theta equals 1 minus 2 sine squared of theta over 2. Then we isolate sine of theta over 2 and get that sine of theta over 2 equals square root of 1 minus cosine theta over 2. With our sine and cosine of a half angle identities, we can find an identity for tangent of a half angle. By the quotient identity, tangent of theta over 2 equals sine of theta over 2 over cosine of theta over 2. Then we can expand using our new half-angle identities, and after some simplifying, we get that tangent of theta over 2 equals plus minus square root of 1 minus cosine theta over 1 plus cosine theta, which is our tangent of a half-angle identity. However, just like with cosine of a double angle, there are a couple other versions of the tangent of a half-angle identity that are often easier to use than this one. Do you remember these two identities we verified in example 3 of this lesson? Since the thetas on the left sides are exactly half of the 2 thetas on the right sides, we can rewrite these identities with theta over 2 instead of theta, and theta instead of 2 theta, which give us 2 other tangent of a half-angle identities. Since these other 2 versions don't involve any square roots or plus minuses, they are often easier to use than the original one. Here are all the half-angle identities we just learned. Record these new identities in this slot of your reference sheet. Pause the video to do so now. Let's apply these identities in a couple of last examples. Let's find the exact value of tangent of 22.5 degrees. Looking at our unit circle, we definitely don't have 22.5 degrees as a special angle. However, our new half-angle identities allow us to find trigonometric values of angles that are half of known special angles. Is 22.5 the half of one of our special angles? Yes. 22.5 is half of 45, so we want to evaluate the tangent of 45 degrees over 2, which we can do using any of our tangent of a half angle identities. I'll choose the second version since it's one of the simplest ones. Applying this identity, we get 1 minus cosine of 45 degrees over sine of 45 degrees, which we can evaluate as 1 minus square root of 2 over 2 all over square root of 2 over 2. We can get rid of the halves by multiplying numerator and denominator by 2. And then we can rationalize the denominator by multiplying numerator and denominator by square root of 2. Lastly, we can divide both terms in the numerator by 2 and write our final answer as square root of 2 minus 1. Let's wrap up our lesson with one last example. Let's evaluate cosine of 5 pi over 8. Just as with sum and difference identities, for half-angle identities, it might be easier to find the special angles we need using degrees. On your own, convert 5 pi over 8 to degrees, and then evaluate the cosine using the cosine of a half-angle identity. Pause the video and try it out now. Converting 5 pi over 8 to degrees, we get 112.5 degrees, which is exactly half of 225 degrees. Applying the cosine of a half-angle identity, we get plus minus square root of 1 plus cosine of 225 degrees over 2. But wait, does this mean we'll have two answers, a positive and a negative? The cosine function cannot output two values for the single input of 5 pi over 8. Instead, the plus minus is there to remind us we need to choose the appropriate sign based on the quadrant our angle falls in. Should the cosine of 112.5 degrees be positive or negative? Since 112.5 degrees falls in the second quadrant where the x-coordinates are negative, this cosine should be negative. Now we evaluate cosine of 225 degrees as negative square root of 2 over 2. Simplify by multiplying numerator and denominator by 2, and we can also take the 4 out of the square root as a 2. Cosine of 5 pi over 8 is therefore equal to negative square root of 2 minus square root of 2, all over 2. Today we learned two new groups of identities, which you should have recorded in your reference sheet: the double angle identities and the half angle identities. We learned how to use these identities to verify other identities and to find the exact trigonometric values of the angles that are half of any of our special angles. Once you've finished your guided notes, complete the additional practice. After that, make sure to complete the online practice. See you next time! Hey, hey.